So I am doubly excited to show you this month's Bookish Box. This is the April box with the theme of Ascend the Throne. And so this book box, they tell you what the book's going to be ahead of time. I think that way you don't accidentally buy it or get it somewhere else. The book in this month's box, I forget the name of it, but it's supposed to be following a Russian folktale, but making it more high fantasy. And I'm really excited about that. I love learning about different countries, like mythologies. So I wonder if I will have maybe stumbled upon this story somewhere in the past, but have forgotten where, and so something will ring a bell. But if not, then I get to learn a whole new story, which is super awesome too. I did real quick though want to show off some books I had bought recently. My to read shelf is empty, so I let myself buy another round of books. So I just wanted to show those off real quick. And you can scope over that if you want. Then we'll get to the real meat and bones of the video, which is the fun contents in this month's box. All right, so I'll try to keep this quick. I actually had to start reading some of these books a little earlier than I got to show them off to you anyway. I was halfway through the last book on my shelf, which I read through really quickly. So I was very thirsty for another book when they started showing up in the mail. Everything was like staggered. I got like 2 books, 3 books, and then 1 each. So I'll start with the first book I got, which I've actually since finished and even made a video on. So the review of this book will be coming out to you soon. This is The Novice by Trudy Canavan. This is actually the second book in her Black Magician trilogy. I enjoyed the book so much, so next time I buy books, I'm buying the next one. And gotta say, after the second one, same thing. Third one's going to the top of the list, and I'll get to finish this series once I get through all these lovelies that I gathered up. So I kind of have a theme running with this book haul, and it is only the next book in series that I'm already super duper excited about. I've been trying a lot of new books. The book boxes help. Being a little more engaged with like BookTube and listening to people really helps. So I've been finding a lot of new books to read, which is awesome. But I also have a lot of books already on my list that I need to get to. So I wanted to stick with series that I was already like in love with and really indulge myself with those before perhaps trying some more new books. Next in that kind of category is the latest book in the Invisible Library series, unless she's written a new one in the time it's taken me to get back around to this series. But it's The Secret Chapter by Genevieve Cogman. I really recommend this series. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Magic Treehouse. With the way the book is structured, she can go to these different worlds that can have wildly different like levels of technology or like magic and stuff like that. And so I love this idea for like a universe, and I think that it lends itself well to like an endless amount of good stories. I am super excited to read everything that she writes in this series. So those 2 books came separately. The next package that I got had these guys in it. First one that I have here is The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. This is the second book in the Mistborn trilogy. I actually usually prefer my books the standard size. I don't really like mass market paperbacks, but I didn't think I'd like the series, so I made sure to buy a less expensive copy when I bought the first one, and it was in this style. So I wanted them to match, so I bought another one, same size and shape. But this is shaping up to be one of my favorite series. But I feel like I've said that a lot, even just in this video. Sometimes opening these boxes makes it feel like Christmas, and this book was definitely one of them. I'd forgotten exactly what versions of all the books I had gotten, and even a few of what titles. I just remembered I knew it was all good stuff that I already loved. Not only is this the last book in the Shades of Magic trilogy, but this is one time when waiting a while on something actually worked to my benefit, and I got a collector's edition. I forgot that there was one available, so I'm just so excited. The inside's got artwork. There's like a bookmark in the bottom. I haven't really explored any of the other things that make it special, but I was just excited for the story. So bonus to having a beautiful object to enjoy the story with as well. And then I have Siege and Storm, the next book in the original Grisha trilogy. I was actually a little late to this in both aspects, in that I didn't read the original series when it came out, but I also didn't find the Grishaverse and Leigh Bardugo until Six of Crows. I somehow stumbled upon that book, fell absolutely in love with her way of storytelling, the well-rounded characters, and the universe, and then I found out that there were other books. So then I decided to go back and read her original trilogy that kind of started the Grishaverse. So another one that I kind of was waiting around on to get in the same size and shape is Five Dark Fates by Kendra Blake. This is another series I really liked a lot, but I caught up with it. And so even though I was really excited to finish, I hope this is the last one, just because I want to know how the story ends. When it finally came time for me to pick up this book to read, it was only available in hardback. I hemmed and I hawed, and I decided there are a lot of other books I wanted to read, so I would just pick this up in paperback later. But it's time now. All right, and the last one is The Silver Serpent. Bit of a tongue twister. The Silvered Serpents by Roshani Chosky. I hope I pronounced that right. This is another one. Love the way the characters are written. And the first one was a heist novel, and it sounds like this one's going to be too. And also the world's really interesting. And thankfully I got the other one in hardback, so I was able to get this one in hardback too. Well, thank you for letting me share those with you. I will be reviewing them and they'll be coming out soon. I actually already finished the Novice video, so that should be up next week. But for now, we'll get to what you came here for, and we'll show off the items in the Ascend the Throne Bookish Box. All right, sorry, I have one more introduction. So I noticed that a lot of the items had wrappers on them. So this won't be quite as blind of an unboxing as I usually do, because I've taken the wrappers off so it doesn't crinkle and mess with the audio / like obscure my view. So if it sounds like I've already seen the items, I already have a little bit, but I've tried not to focus on them too much. That way we can kind of share in the surprise together. Also, I hope that I haven't spoiled anything for you there. This is the info card, and over here it's got the listing of all the items that will be in the box. So I'm going to put this up to the side so I can reference it as I read through. As you can see, this is the Ascend the Throne box. And something that I've loved that they've been doing recently is a monthly playlist. So you can sit down with the book and you have some specially curated music for it too. So the first thing that fell out as I was, and that kind of led me to notice that absolutely everything was in like its own little plastic bag. And the first thing to fall out was this little crown. So I think it's a bangle, but I mean, I know I have small wrists, but isn't that big? Like, wouldn't that just slide right off? Maybe I have tiny hands, tiny wrists, or see all of the above. But I think it's neat. Let's see what the info card has to say. Oh, it looks like they were thinking what I was thinking, which is that I might not use this so much as like actual jewelry and an accessory that way, but it would make for a good staging prop for Bookstagram photos. And it does say that it's a crown bangle, so it is meant to be worn as such if you'd like to, or you can use it for photos or just decorating your bookshelf. And there's no artist listed necessarily. I'm guessing that credit for this item just goes to the whole Bookish Box team. So the bangle was actually wrapped up in this big swath of cloth. Oh, looks like it's probably a pillowcase because there's a zipper down here and it's square. So it says, libraries were full of ideas, perhaps the most dangerous and powerful of all weapons. I wonder if that's like an old quote or a quote from a more recent book. My bet's on recent. Let's see. Aha! Featuring a well-loved quote from The Throne of Glass. This lettered pillowcase by @letterpiece is a stunning way to spruce up your reading area. And it's so soft. Well, I forget which one came next, but the next one we're going to do is the monthly pin. Here we have this little pastel-y pattern with like a lot of flowers. And it says, I choose immortal life. Inspired by Lord of the Rings. Oh, I think that's the pendant that the elf lady gives. Is it Boromir? But the design on the pin is from Pins by Arisaman. And yes, it says the quote is from Arwen from Lord of the Rings. Arwen in Lord of the Rings. And I believe I'm right in that it's Boromir that she says it to, / gives it to. All right, and a standard that I've seen from like my previous 3 boxes or so of Bookish Box is the Candle Bookmark Duo. So in this, we've got a lady with like a shadow, like little shadow figures around her. There's only one that the bookmark captures, but the candle, you can spy quite a few. We got one on her shoulder, one there, one over here. And so it says this is Laia, and it smells of blackcurrant and sandalwood. This isn't immediately jumping out to me. What does the info card say? So this is from Ember in the Ashes, which I've read, and I think it's a series, but I haven't read any more than just the first book. And I've been juggling quite a few different series, so I apologize, Miss Laia, that I forgot about you. And I believe this is the same artist from last month. This artwork is done by Nicole Deal. They actually did a really interesting job packaging it because it came in like a little plastic envelope. I kind of thought that itself was the thing, but then I saw in like big print on it that it's a book sleeve by at Mare Wild & Co. And so while looking to make sure I got the artist's name correct, I actually just had to read over the whole thing because it was at the bottom. This artwork is inspired by Blood and Ash, and the characters' names are Castile and Poppy. That name sounded familiar, but I checked my bookshelf real quick, and I have not read that book. So maybe it's just a lot of people have been talking about it and it's high on my to-read list, but I'm excited to pick it up, and I guess I'll have a book sleeve whenever I do get around to reading it. And one more thing is the card. It's got a little bit about the book, and I'll kind of read that a little bit more when I pull the book out. But something else I wanted to show off before setting this to the side is the artwork. So this is actually going to be the art for next month's box, and the artist on it is Moralev_art. The main event! It's the book. So it is These Feathered Flames by Alexandra Overy, and it says Magic Demands Payment. That sounds imposing. So let's look at all the special things. So we have these special end papers with what I'm guessing is a firebird. I wonder how similar to a phoenix it is, because I feel like this imagery looks a lot like how we interpret phoenixes. So I wonder how similar the two are. And then we have the book itself, some orange with the title stamped on the side. And then we have the reversible dust jacket cover. Oh my goodness, I'm in love with this. I feel kind of bad for saying it, but I'm getting some Anna Elsa vibes. We've got our like kind of fierce, she looks adventurous redhead over here. And since she's got the firebird behind her, I'm imagining that she's gonna be our character that has magic. And then we've got the more reserved and regal looking young lady over here, which will probably be the sister who is tasked with ruling the kingdom. But I apologize, I read ahead, so let me read you real quick the little excerpt that we have about the book from the Bookish team. With intense world building, a daring romance, one sister born to rule the kingdom, one sister born to wield the dangerous magic of the firebird, and giant bears you can ride, this book has everything your fantasy-loving heart needs. Oh, but looking over that card, sorry, I feel like I'm all over the place in this video, and I'm so sorry. One last thing that I wanted to show off with the book is our little special page that we have in the beginning here. And so it's got the title and the author's signature. And then we also have a special artwork. So I'm kind of curious because it says the 3 moons, but we have 2 sisters. So I wonder how that's gonna come into play. But that is everything in the box, so I'm gonna lead you over to the outro. All right, so that was everything in the April Bookish box with the theme of Ascend the Throne. In this month's box, we got These Feathered Flames by Alexandra Overy, and I'm even more excited after reading the little blurb. I think it'll be so much fun to see these like royal sisters and see how they interact. I wonder how much of it is going to be Frozen vibes. I kind of got that from the book jacket cover, not gonna lie. But I don't want to focus on that too much. It's going to be a great story in its own right, and I'm excited to read it. And I'm excited for another main character, Redhead. I would say that my favorite item from this month is the pillowcase. My design nerd is coming out, and I love the lettering. I love the mix of how well these fonts go together, but also it's so soft. The other like bookish pillowcases that I've gotten in the past are like a little kind of plasticky, but I mean they should probably just be decor pillows, but I only have one pillow on my couch, so I am immediately going to switch it out with this one. The only thing I worry about is that this is my only pillow on my couch in the living room, and so I'm worried that I might get like Cheeto dust on it or something. Phew, well, I feel like between the book haul and the bookish box, that's probably a lot of stuff. So I want to thank you so much for sticking around if you've watched the whole thing. Or thanks for landing here on the end if you skipped around a little bit. So yeah, I guess just thanks for watching, and I hope I catch you again in the next video. Bye for now.